Trinity of Sin, Pandora #1, written by Ray Fox, art by Daniel Sempier, Xander Cannon, and Patrick Zurcher. For all future issues of this, I'm just calling it Pandora because Trinity of Sin is a stupid family name. So this is the origin story of Pandora, which of course is the central character in the whole DCU, and this is also a prelude to Trinity War, but only in so much as Pandora's a major player there, so we need to figure out who the hell is she. So we open up in prehistoric Macedonia 8,000 years ago, and someone's saying that they have waited 3 million days just to be able to tell this story to you. And we see this ancient tribe, there's a young child who's sick, and a woman is like, oh, don't worry, we've got medicines as good as we can here in the 8,000s, just keep them here, I'll go out in the forest and take care of it. And this woman goes out into the forest and she sees a bright red light out there, and as she approaches closer, she sees the box. It is not currently Pandora's box, but as soon as she sees it, she's immediately just overtaken with its power, and the 7 sins come out of it. You know, envy, greed, all that stuff. And she passes out and the box seems to be spent. So some time passes, she stumbles back to her tribe, and the 7 sins have killed everyone there. And as she's staring on, horrified, they're like, oh, hey, Mom, glad you came back. And she's like, no, I didn't do this. But as she's freaking out about it, she's almost immediately teleported in front of the Wizards Council, and I think this happened in like a Zero issue somewhere. Maybe it was like Shazam. I don't know. Regardless, she's teleported in front with the other 2 members of the Trinity of Sin, the Question and Phantom Stranger. And they're like, Pandora, you suck so hard. And she's like, I don't even know what I did. And it's like, well, too bad. You feign ignorance. And so they sentence her that she has scars now on her face that burn no matter what. And she is forced to live forever to see what these evils she released on mankind have done. So she takes time as soon as she gets back to bury all of the dead of her tribe, and she just like hangs out there for many, many years until finally the forest overgrows, and so she starts to walk, and she sees what all of the sins have been doing around the world in the meantime, and she sees, wars going on and people killing over money and items and stuff, so wrath, envy, and greed, and she's just like, I'm gonna stop you all, I'm gonna do that, and the sins are just like, Mom, you can't. You don't have any power. You are literally powerless to stop us. Bye-bye now. So she goes around, and her whole thing is that she's basically trying to protect people from the things. And they have little places that they've been and like the years that she was there as well, but who really cares? So she's trying to just basically protect people, and it's like, oh, if I can't stop them, I'll at least save whoever I can. But it's like 1 for every several thousand, so not doing great. And as she's chilling out, super sad one day, Pride shows up and is like, Mom, look, we get it. Like, you're not a huge fan of us, but we don't care. We're grateful that you let us out of the box, and we would, if you just stopped fighting against what we want to do, we would gladly crown you our queen. And she's like, no, I will never do that. I will find the power to destroy you. And she's like, okay, whatever, Mom. So then she went around and she's like, all right, just saving people is enough. I have to try to stop them. I have to try to stop people from being bad in the first place. So she goes around all these different places, and it's basically like, everyone listen, doing bad things is bad, and everyone just kind of like smacks her down and just like, stop being clearly, but we're going to do it anyway. So she walks through, and at this point she reaches the 0 year epoch, so she goes into 44 B or AD 113 AD, and she starts learning like magic and stuff like that, and how to reach beyond the spiritual realm, because she feels like that's what's necessary in order to make an impression here, until finally she reaches the Crusades, and she tries to jump in the middle of it and like, everyone stop, it's not right. And as she's sitting there, she gets hit with a sword. Obviously she can heal immediately, nothing can kill her, but we see that the person who hits her with a sword is Vandal Savage, and Vandal's like, hey, wait, I've seen you around, you keep on telling people not to fight, You're like kind of stupid like that. And he says like, no, I've heard stories about you though. You are the mother of all evil. Like you're the one who's responsible for all that. So yeah, that's he basically calls her out for how much evil she is. And she's like, I'm nothing like you and your kind. And he's like, okay, well, you're an immortal like me, so you're kind of like me. So at that point, Pandora decides, all right, if I can't beat him, I'm going to join him. I'm going to learn to fight so good, using my spiritual abilities as well, I can kick all those sins' asses and kill the sins themselves. So she learns all this super fighting stuff, and we cut to modern day where she gets herself some real fancy weapons that she believes will be able to actually kill these sins. It's like 2 custom pistols and this weird sickle looking thing, a chain and weight, she said, that's made out of a special metal. And so she's almost sniped by the spirit of Wrath, and then she manages to escape, gets up on the rooftop where Wrath is. She's about to start her big battle, and then she's teleported away. And it turns out it's the wizard, Shazam, who teleported her away. And he's like, hey, Pandora, did I get you at a bad time? And she's like, yes. And he's like, I'm sorry about that. Look, I'm literally dying after the events of the Shazam book. Here's the thing. We were wrong. You were just a young, curious woman. You didn't mean to let out the sins. That's on us. We're very sorry. And she's like, oh, are you going to free me from my punishment? And he's like, no, I'm too weak to do that. But I can tell you that you will be free of your punishment if you can get all the sins back in the box. And Pandora's like, oh, is that... Clearly, I haven't been trying that for the past 10,000 years. Sorry. And he's like, all right, well, what you need to do is the box will only open to someone who is the strongest of heart or the darkest of hearts. One or the other will open up that box. So go ahead and find that one. And he's just like, all right, bye. And he just disappears in a lightning bolt because that's how he dies. So Pandora collapses, and she then is just like, all right, fine. In this age of superheroes, clearly I need to find a superhero, because they're going to have the ones that are strongest of heart, and I know just where to start. And we see the Superman logo. So tune in to Trinity War, where she's going to go try to get Superman to open up a box. I mean, it's a fine origin, but it's just so, like, basic, I guess. Like, for someone who has this centerpiece focal point of the DCU ascribed to her, of, like, this is the most important thing, you'd think the origin story would be better than, I did something bad in my past and now I'm trying to atone for it. Because that's, like, 85% of all anti-heroes. And, like, I need something more than that. On top of that, her abilities don't seem to be anything outside of she's immortal and also learned, like, some very basic ass magic. Like, that's it. So yeah, Pandora's not that notable as of now. I'm not saying this was a horrible issue. It was fine, but it's just like the character as a whole is lacking. So the issue could never be that great to begin with. Overall, I don't know. I'll give this one I'll give it a 6.5, because for what it does well. It's trying to give her origin, and it does it, and it sets up for Trinity War. I'm down with all that. No problems. It's just that the character herself is boring, so I can't really get it above a 6.5 for a story that is literally all about her.